What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another series review. Today we're taking a look at the Imprefects, which is a Netflix series which has unfortunately been cancelled. It did come out in 2022 and has 10 episodes, roughly between 30 and 50 minutes each, so you can easily watch it within 10 hours like I did, given a couple of breaks, but I did binge watch this series all in one day, and I'm very shocked that this didn't get greenlit for a second season. However, this is how the Netflix live-action Monkey D. Luffy started his career on Netflix, I do believe. I think this is where he originated from, and I'm going to be honest, he was my favorite character in this series. He was really fucking cool. But before we get into any of that, we got to quickly get into what Google has to say. So without any further delay, let's head on over to there. So The Imperfects is a sci-fi series with one season, has a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb and a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, which isn't bad for Netflix terms, so I really don't know why they didn't greenlight it for a second season. After undergoing an experiment that gives them monstrous side effects, Abby, Tilda, and Juan join forces to hunt down the scientist responsible and force him to make them human again. This series does definitely have the vibe of the CW Flash, Arrow, and also Batgirl, Supergirl, and Stargirl series that the CW did make, and I fucking loved it. It was brilliant. The first episode starts off with all of our characters living their day-to-day life to give us a little bit of semblance to how their normal life actually is, and then popping pills, taking drugs to sort of show how, like, you know, what they need, and gives us a little bit of mystery of like, ooh, all these people are taking these things, what's gonna happen with them. And it also has a random character that's following them in each of these scenes, so we do also know that you know, they're being followed. So it builds up that mystery straight off the bat with the opening sequence, with the opening scenes, and it also gives a little bit of backstory into their personal lives, one of them being a scientist, one of them being a singer, and one of them being a comic writer, which I do aspire to be like, because I am currently writing my own comic book as well, so that shit is pretty fucking cool. However, we are going to be moving on, and they run out of pills, and then they start to gain their powers. One of them turns into a monstrous chupacabra that goes and eats dogs, raccoons, and people. We have the other one turning into a banshee, and she can scream really loud and has super hearing. And the other one has pheromones, which makes people fall in love with her. So they team up with a scientist after the other scientist with red hair steals their blood and runs away. So they hunt down the other scientist and try and find him by tracking down his other test subjects, which is a ginger guy who has copper in his system, which makes him super strong, and he's working with the scientist to sort of protect the other scientist from the murderous scientist who's coming around to kill everybody, because there's a new scientist that's here murdering everybody that Sarkov worked with, who is the evil scientist, for his mistreating of these people. So, you know, a lot of crazy shit's going down. They end up finding Sarkov after going through quite a lot of shit, to be fair. One goes to see his brother because he turns choopy and runs away after getting shot, and they build up their relationship for it to be teared down like 2 episodes later. They go to an island to find Sarkov, bring him back, develop a cure, get attacked by the government, and then trade in their fellow scientists. Sarkov then steals drones from another scientist, so then he can spread his, like, cure to the rest of the world, giving the world superpowers. You know what? I wouldn't complain, until we realize that the drones have a side effect of taking over your body, making you zombie-like creatures being controlled by drones. Then we have our main girl scientist, our absolute fucking shapeshifter, escaping her confines and getting the cure. One gets the cure, and then Pheromone Girl also gets the cure, and Banshee decides she wants to keep her powers, becomes a superhero, one starts to write a comic about them, and then right at the end we start to see that their powers are coming back, but 10 times worse, and they are slightly different and altered, which gives us a great mystery to head into Season 2 with, but unfortunately it was cancelled. The character drama and the character connection here is really good, because these people don't know each other. They've just been thrown into this situation together, and they have to build a friendship, build a connection together, and they just have to get on with it, and they have to deal with it, and they have to try and work out what's happening here. And Chupi is my favorite. He is a comedic relief character. He is the token dude in this gang of misfits, I'm gonna call them, and he is an absolute fucking menace. He's the muscle. He's the one that can turn into a chupacabra, which he can't control at the start of the series, but he learns to control later on with him slowly remembering stuff from his Chupi form. And I like that. Again, it's very subtle. It's slow character development throughout the series. Again, it is a lot of monologued to you. We don't get to see a lot of the development of their powers. We just get told that they can now do things. We get to see it a little bit with Banshee. She can hear the heartbeat and how it's faster, and see his lips twitching, and hear his wetness of his lips, and his lips smacking together to show that he's lying. So we do get to see that a little bit before she instantly says, "You're a liar." So, there is very small foreshadowing, or very small sort of show not tell before they tell us anyway. So it doesn't really matter, and doesn't really have the same impact. The CGI isn't excellent, it isn't great, it is a Netflix series, so I don't really know what we're expecting, but Netflix does love themselves a good transformation character, a good werewolf-esque character. We had one in Wednesday, we have one in the Imperfects, and I do believe we have one in Stranger Things as well, with a character that can shapeshift. I can't remember if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure we do. But yeah, Netflix does love their transforming monster characters, and I'm gonna be honest, Chupi looks fucking sick. I don't get what Juan didn't like about his power, especially after he learned to control it. Once he knows how to control it, I don't get why he doesn't want to keep it, or why he doesn't want it, because it's no longer an issue, it no longer gets out of control, it no longer is a risk to his friends or family, and it's no longer a risk to him. So why does he want to get rid of it if he can now control it and he can be a superhero? Because his niece likes it, and, it's cool, you now control the chupacabra. You now control the beast that is inside you. The beast that was inside you all along. We do have a little bit of a love triangle. A little bit of a love situation going on here. With Hannah and Abby. Those two have a very, very toxic relationship, not gonna lie. Abby is very toxic, I will say that. With using her pheromones to try and force her girlfriend or her sort of love interest to do stuff. Not a huge fan of that. That is very, very controlling, very manipulative, and very abusive. So, that's kind of rude, and I didn't really appreciate that. But I did like the will they, won't they sort of relationship between Banshee and Chupi, because that shit was cool, and I was so happy when they finally looked like they were getting together, and then they didn't get together, and I was so upset, and they just did a lickety split and separated. They do try and build up villains in episodes by have them menacingly stand on top of buildings or menacingly stand in the shadows, and it's okay. Again, that's what I mean when I say it feels like a CW show, when the menacing sort of characters stand in the background to sort of foreshadow the next villain or villain of the episode, which we did get quite a few towards the start of this season. There was quite a few villain of the episodes with the ginger guy, with the 3 scientist lots, and then with Claw Hand and the government guy, and I thought it was sick as fuck when he bit off his nose. I thought that was really funny. I'm gonna be honest. It was 100% deserved, but I thought it was quite funny. The science behind it all, I didn't really get, I'm gonna be honest. That was the most confusing part, because they had a lot of science talk, and they had the generic sort of 2 idiots in the room that are layman's terms, English please, which made them translate it, but they didn't translate it very well, because again, I still didn't understand what half the shit they were talking about was, but it was still cool. I still enjoyed it. It was still a fun watch, and I'm upset that we're not getting a season 2. I do have some Lego customs of this series up on the channel if you're interested in checking out some of those. If you're not, that's completely fine. But the costume design of this series was really good, because you can tell a lot about the characters just from how they're dressed. We have the punk rocker who's wearing like a lot of leather, a lot of latex, a lot of spikes, who is definitely a punk, an alternative, someone who likes to rock out and stuff like that. We have the very sort of tidy, sort of smart clothes, sort of very suit-y, very sort of smart and sort of I don't know how to put it, but like very sort of stuck up with her science and how she presents herself. And then we have the dude in the hoodie and the like joggers with the graphic tees to sort of show that he's like a nerd and a comic book geek and he likes superheroes. And not gonna lie, him and his comic book is fucking incredible. That was like a major thing with him and his brother's relationship, which I was upset that they brought in just to remove, to try and get some like emotional like baggage for him, and to be like, oh, but look, he has to make this hard choice whether to get rid of Choopy or to stay with his family, and his brother won't understand, but it leads to their relationship going to shit just after they fixed it. I felt like that was really cheap, and that was really like poor of a motivational choice, but as a whole, I did really enjoy this series. I thought it was really fun, and I'm hoping for a season 2, so if Netflix sees this, which they probably won't, but there is a chance, never say never, greenlight a season 2, please. I would greatly appreciate it. I think it would go insanely hard, and you left it with such a mystery for season 2. At least give us some answers of where the story was going to go. At least give us that gratification. Give us, like, the ending, what you planned, please, so then we can have some closure for this series. But other than that, it's a solid 9 out of 10. I really did enjoy it. So, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. See you all next one. Hope you all have an excellent day. And if you want me to review anything else on the channel, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, bye-bye.